Under the burning sun, a hungry little girl tried to sell her last bag of oranges, never knowing what waited inside one stranger's wallet. The afternoon heat shimmered off the road as Emma, a 9-year-old girl with dust on her shoes and hope in her eyes, clutched a plastic bag full of oranges. Her small voice called out between passing cars, "Fresh oranges, sweet and cheap, please buy some." But nobody stopped. The smell of exhaust mixed with the faint sweetness of crushed oranges at her feet. Sweat trickled down her neck. The bag felt heavier with every step, and so did her heart. Her mother, Lena, lay sick at home, too weak to stand, too poor to afford medicine. Emma hadn't eaten since morning, but she wasn't thinking about food. She was thinking about her mother's cough, the sound that scared her more each night. Every no felt heavier than the bag in her hands. She walked from house to house, corner to corner, smiling through rejection like her mother had taught her. "Always smile, no matter how hard the day gets, sweetheart," Lena would say. But it was hard to smile when people turned away like you didn't exist. A group of boys from a nearby school passed by, laughing. "Selling oranges won't make you rich, little girl," one shouted. Emma looked down, biting her lip, pretending not to hear. Her chest ached, but she kept walking. The city noise grew louder, car horns, chatter, the faint hiss of a bus braking. Emma reached the last block of the day, her feet blistered and her throat dry. She almost turned home until a voice stopped her. "How much are they?" She looked up. A tall man stood before her, wearing a clean white shirt and black trousers. His voice was calm, but there was something tired in his eyes, something she couldn't name. "Sir, they're $2 for 5, Emma said softly. The man smiled faintly. "I'll take all of them." Emma blinked. All of them?" "Yes, Daisy," he said. "All of them." Her heart jumped. No one had ever done that before. She handed him the bag with trembling hands as he reached for his wallet, but as he pulled it out, it slipped from his grasp and fell onto the pavement. Coins rolled toward the curb. Emma bent down quickly to help. When she picked up the wallet, it flipped open slightly. Inside was a small, worn photograph. Emma's fingers froze. The woman in the picture looked exactly like her mother. Same gentle smile, same pendant around her neck, same eyes that always looked a little sad. Emma's breath caught. Why was her mother's picture inside a stranger's wallet? Who was this man, and why did he carry a photo of Emma's mother close to his heart? Emma froze, staring at the photo inside the open wallet. Her breath trembled. That woman in the picture, same hair, same necklace, same kind eyes. It was her mother, Lena younger, brighter and smiling in a way Emma had never seen before. The man bent down, his shadow falling over her. "Hey," he said gently. "Did you find it?" Emma blinked, snapping out of her trance. She picked up the wallet with both hands and held it out. Yes, sir, it just fell open." He smiled politely. "Thank you, you're a good girl." But Emma couldn't stop staring. Her small voice quivered. "Sir, where did you get that picture?" The man frowned, slightly confused. "What picture?" "The lady inside your wallet," she said. "That's my mom." He went completely still. His hand froze midair. Slowly he opened the wallet again and looked down. Then his eyes lifted to hers. When he said her mother's name, something in his voice made her look up. It wasn't just memory, it was pain. "Your mother?" he said carefully. Emma nodded. "Her name's Lena. She's sick at home. That picture, it's her." The noise of the street carried around them. Horns blaring, a bus sighing to a stop, the buzz of life continuing as if nothing had changed. But for the man, time had stopped. He inhaled sharply. Lena, 9 years. His heart clenched. The exact number he'd tried to forget. "Sir," Emma said softly, "do you know her?" He swallowed, his jaw tightening as memories flickered in his eyes. "I used to," he said, "a long time ago." A taxi honked nearby, breaking the silence. He flinched slightly, and Emma noticed his hand trembling as he closed the wallet. "What's your name?" he asked. "Emma." "Emma," he repeated, almost reverently. "How old are you?" "I'm 9, almost 10. He exhaled slowly. "9, he whispered. "Of course." Emma tilted her head, unsure what that meant. "Sir, are you okay?" The man gave a small, broken laugh. "No," he admitted quietly. "Not really." Then he crouched down, his voice lower, almost pleading. "Emma, can you take me to your mother? Please." She hesitated. Her mother had always warned her about strangers, but there was something about this man, something wounded yet familiar. "I don't know," she said. "Please," he said again, his eyes glassy. "I need to see her." Emma looked down at her empty hands where the bag of oranges had been, then back at him. She didn't know why, but something deep inside whispered this wasn't coincidence. This was the start of something she didn't yet understand. What will happen when Emma brings this stranger home, and her mother sees the face she thought was lost forever? Her mother's voice echoed inside her. "Never go with strangers, no matter how kind they sound." Emma stood still on the curb, the money clutched in her palm. The man, Mr. Carter, he had said, waited, silent, giving her space. She almost turned back, then remembered her mother's coughing fit that morning, the sound that shook their thin walls. "All right," she said quietly, "but you walk behind me." He nodded. Of course. They moved through the narrow streets, shadows stretching long across the broken pavement. The air smelled of dust and fried food, the hum of evening traffic around them. Emma stole quick glances over her shoulder. The man kept his distance, his expression unreadable. So this is how she's lived. All these years, Daniel thought, scanning the peeling walls and flickering signs. 9 years of guilt crashed over him like a wave. At the building, the stairs groaned beneath their feet. "We live up there," Emma said. Her voice carried both pride and apology. When they reached door 12, she hesitated. "Please don't scare her. She gets sick when she's upset." "I promise," Daniel murmured. Emma turned the handle. The door opened with a small squeak. Inside, the single-room apartment breathed quiet poverty. The smell of medicine, damp clothes, and oranges long gone stale. On the low bed by the window lay a woman, thin and pale, half asleep beneath a worn blanket. "Mom," Emma whispered. Lena stirred, blinking in the weak light. "Emma, you're back early. Did you sell any—" Her words stopped as she noticed the man behind her daughter. For a second, her face showed nothing, just confusion. Then, as recognition crept in, her expression hardened. "Emma," she said sharply. "Who is this?" Daniel froze. Her tone cut through him like glass. I bought her oranges," he managed. "I just wanted to be sure she got home safe." Lena's eyes narrowed. "You shouldn't be here." She pushed herself up, the effort making her cough. Then she saw his face, fully in the light. Her eyes filled. The room seemed to tilt. "Lena," he breathed. She steadied herself against the wall. 1,000 memories, nights of laughter, mornings of promises, rushed back. Daniel? 9 years vanished in a heartbeat. Emma looked from one to the other, her pulse quickening. "Mom, do you know him?" Lena's lips trembled. Emma, a trembling breath. "That man, he's your father." The words hung in the air, heavy as the silence that followed. Daniel's vision blurred. His knees nearly gave way. He had imagined this moment for years, but nothing prepared him for the sight of the child whose eyes mirrored his own. Emma's mouth parted in shock, the world narrowing to the faint hum of traffic outside. Now that the truth is out, can 9 years of secrets ever be forgiven, or will the past tear them apart again? The room was so still that even the ticking clock sounded loud. Daniel stood near the doorway, every muscle locked. Emma clutched her mother's blanket, her voice small. "Mom, is it true?" Lena's lips trembled. "Emma, sit down, please." Daniel's voice came low, rough. "Lena, why didn't you tell me?" She looked up, guilt in her eyes. "I wanted to. You have to believe that." He took a step closer. "Then why disappear? Why let me think you didn't love me?" Her fingers gripped the bedsheet. "Because if I'd stayed, she would have destroyed us both." He frowned. "Who?" Lena swallowed hard. "Your mother." Her name shattered the room like glass. Daniel blinked. "What are you talking about?" "She showed up one night," Lena whispered. "I was pregnant. She said I wasn't good enough for you. Said she'd have me arrested for stealing if I didn't leave. She had papers, Daniel. Real ones." She pressed a hand over her mouth, fighting a sob. "I was 20. I had no one." Daniel shook his head. "That can't be." "I saw her face," Lena cut in. "Calm, cold, like ruining my life was just business." Emma covered her ears, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Mom, stop!" Lena reached for her daughter's hand. "I'm sorry, baby. I had to keep you safe." Daniel's breath came fast. Memories collided. His mother's careful lies, her warning not to look for Lena, the envelope of money she'd called closure. All that time, he'd believed her. "Lena," he whispered, voice breaking. "I'm so sorry." She shook her head weakly. "You trusted her. I would have too." Her eyes went to Emma. "I told myself I was protecting you, but look where it left us." Daniel knelt beside the bed. "You did what you had to. Now let me do the rest." Her body trembled, exhaustion deep in her bones. "The doctors say it's counting down," she murmured, "and I can feel it." "No." Daniel's grip tightened around her hand. "We'll get you real care. I'll handle everything." Emma leaned against him, tears wetting his sleeve. For the first time in years, Lena's expression softened. The fear in her eyes loosened just enough to let a little hope in. Outside, thunder rolled across the city. A flash of lightning cut through the cracked window, casting Daniel's face in stark white for an instant. Determined, unaware of the storm still coming, Daniel thinks they're safe. But the storm outside isn't the only one waiting to break. Rain streaked the hospital window in silver threads. Daniel hadn't slept. His reflection stared back, hollow-eyed, haunted by Lena's words. "She showed up one night. She said I wasn't good enough." Behind him, Emma slept curled beside her mother's hand. Lena's breathing was shallow but steady. Daniel whispered, "You're not losing her again." He grabbed his coat and stepped into the rain. Catherine Adams' mansion looked untouched by weather, as if the years had bowed around it instead of through it. When she opened the door, her perfume floated out like memory. "Daniel," she said, cool as marble. "You look dreadful." He brushed past her. "I found her." Her eyebrows rose. "Who?" "Lena." The porcelain trembled against the saucer in her hand. "That name again. I thought you'd finally be—" "She showed me the papers," he cut in. "You remember, don't you? Your name on them." Catherine set the cup down carefully. "I was protecting you. She didn't belong in your world, Daniel. I was protecting you." His laugh was sharp, joyless. "Protecting me? You erased me." She straightened. "You were 22, naive. She would have dragged you down." He stepped closer, voice shaking. "She was pregnant." A flicker. Her mask cracked, then reset. "You expect me to believe that street child?" She stopped herself. Daniel's silence was louder than any shout. "Beat. Your granddaughter, Catherine." Her face drained of color. "That's not possible." "It's true," he said. "Her name is Emma. She was selling oranges to buy her mother's medicine." His words landed like stones in still water. Catherine's lips tightened. "You came here to accuse me? To throw away everything I built for you?" "I came to tell tell you I'm done living in your world, he said. You called love a weakness. He stepped back toward the door. Turns out, it's the only thing that ever made me stronger than you. The echo of the door closing followed him down the marble hall. Outside, rain hammered the street, washing dust from his shoes as he walked away, lighter than he'd felt in years. Back at the hospital, Lena stirred in her sleep. Emma looked up from the chair, drawn to the window. Through the rain-blurred glass, headlights flared, and for a split second, she thought she saw a figure standing across the street, half hidden beneath an umbrella, watching. A phone screen glowed faintly in the figure's hand, then a flash of lightning, and the shape was gone. Emma shivered. Daniel has broken free, but Catherine isn't finished. What happens when a mother's control turns into vengeance? Morning broke pale over the city. Inside the hospital room, the air smelled of rain and antiseptic. Lena's eyes fluttered open. Daniel sat beside her bed, his fingers wrapped gently around hers. Emma, half asleep in the chair, blinked awake at the sound of their voices. Hey, Lena whispered. You're still here. I told you I wouldn't leave again, Daniel said. His smile was tired, but real. Lena's gaze lingered on him. I dreamed of this, she murmured. You sitting here, like time never ran away from us. Emma leaned forward. Dad, she said quietly, testing the word for the first time. It felt small and new on her tongue. Daniel froze for half a heartbeat, then drew her into his arms. Yeah, he whispered. I'm here. For a while, none of them spoke. The steady pulse of the heart monitor filled the silence. Slow, even, fragile. A knock came at the door. A nurse stepped in with a small envelope. This was left at the front desk, she said. No name. Daniel opened it. Inside was a check, large enough to pay every hospital bill, and a note written in crisp handwriting. Take care of her. Consider it. Overdue. No signature, but the scent of his mother's perfume still clung to the paper. Daniel stared at it, unsure whether to feel anger or grace. Lena reached for his hand. Sometimes, she whispered, even guilt can choose kindness. He folded the note, slipped it into his pocket, and kissed her forehead. We'll use it, but she doesn't own us anymore. Outside, the storm clouds broke apart, light spilling through the window. Days passed. Lena grew weaker, yet calmer. Daniel brought her flowers that filled the room with color. Emma told her stories, drawing sunshine in crayon across the walls. Each morning felt like borrowed time, and each night ended with whispered goodbyes that tried not to sound final. One dawn, Lena's hand slipped from his. The monitor flattened into a single, endless tone. Daniel's shoulders folded, silent tears shaking through him. Emma buried her face against his arm. The world outside kept moving. Cars, voices, a new day beginning, but inside, everything paused. Later, when the sun climbed higher, Emma walked to the window. The glass still held faint streaks of the night's rain. She whispered, Mom said love never really leaves, it just changes places. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. Then maybe she's in all this light, he said. They stood there together as sunlight filled the room, warm and golden, chasing away the storm's last shadow. She sold oranges once under a burning sun. Now, every morning, Emma places one bright orange on the windowsill, her way of saying she remembers.